So we're not restarting the meeting now. So I got to put in another meeting.
You go full screen, Trey. And in 5 to 10 seconds, we can start to broadcast, and you can let everybody in and give Chris the countdown and just say, Chris, you're ready to start.
Can we let them all in?
You can.
We're starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, good evening, everyone in India. Good morning, everyone in. Good evening, everyone in India. Good morning, everyone in Canada, and welcome to the Together Mission 4.0. We're excited to have all of you here with us today. I'm Chris Carter from the Schulich School of Business. I'll be introducing myself more in a few minutes, and I'm joined by my colleague Schulich from Startup India. Schulich, we have a very special guest to kick off this morning, and then we're going to get deeper into the introductions for the program. So Schulich, over to you for our first special guest.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. From India, we have Dr. Sumit Jarangal. He is the director for the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Sir has a very broad body of experience. He joined the IAS in 2009 as part of the Punjab cadre, and he has served in different capacities since then, including as the Special Secretary of Health and Additional Chief Executive Officer for the Punjab Bureau of Investment Promotion. Sir at present takes care of the National Logistics Policy and its implementation in India, as well as the Startup India program and Brand India. And I mean, I could go on and on, but due to a paucity of time, sir, over to you.
So, good morning, everyone in Canada, and good evening to all my colleagues here. The very name of this engagement, Together, is something which means bringing people from different scenarios, from different culture, and from different geographies together. And especially when it comes to Canada, more than 1.6 million people of Indian origin or residents of your country. And you know, this is a wonderful bridge which has been made over a period of last 3 years. And it is one of the most important engagement as far as Startup India is concerned. And we in Startup India and our team here has been focused on innovation, giving acceleration to ideas, and even providing all kind of help when it comes to scaling up and production related activities. So over the period of last 3 years, this engagement has benefited more than 1,000 students, and also there has been more than 1,100 financial support of Canadian dollars. And the focus, if I can take, you know, the book which has been written by our ex-president, Igniting Young Minds. That is what is the focus of this whole program. And entrepreneurship is, you know, just not one quality. It is and the quality which has two multiple. One has to work on different personality facets, and I believe this program will help in that. I would also like to share that, you know, right now I'm sitting in IICC Dwarka, and the Honorable Prime Minister is going to launch it and give it to the whole world on 17th of this month. And I'm really sorry that I'm engaged in it, and you may be able to listen to the activity in the background. And in spite of my best effort, I'm not able to control the excitement and the engagement which my colleagues over here are, you know, enthusiastic. But I really thank all the team members, and I will name everyone: Ashwin, Siddharth, Abhishek, Galen, Ankita, Sultan, Chris, Shrey. All of you, thanks a lot for bringing this idea together and giving opportunity to both Indian as well as Canadian students, you know. And I personally believe that, you know, challenges are something which are now beyond countries, and any student who's sitting in Canada may have a solution to Indian problem, and an Indian student sitting here in India may have a solution for a Canadian problem. So I really wish that this platform multiplies, solidifies, and, you know, over a period of time, would be one of the best initiative both the countries have taken. So with that, I really have to log off and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So switch off your Wi-Fi.
Thank you so much, Director. We really appreciate your time today, and we know you have a major event going there. It's fun to feel the energy coming in from behind you with all the things that are going on. I just want to say on behalf of the Schulich School of Business, thank you to the government in India and your whole team, extended team here for the hard work. And we'll make sure that the students are well prepped to do you proud as we continue on with the competition. Thanks, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. Okay, with that, we'll continue on. And we'll ask anyone who's in to make sure your mic is muted. So we have a minimum of background noise going on here as people join. And we'd like to, again, welcome you this morning and this evening to the competition. As I said, I'm Chris Carter. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the Schulich School of Business. The Schulich School of Business is the #1 ranked MBA in Canada and one of the top business brands in the world. We recently launched a new tech MBA, an MBA in technology leadership that is a first of its kind in Canada. And we are the home to the highly regarded Schulich Startups program. But perhaps the reason why we're here today and doing this work most specifically is that we also have a campus in India, in Hyderabad, where we have our MBA in India program. And that program has sparked and launched this beautiful relationship between our two countries, and over time led to the opportunity to work together and build what we're bringing here to you today, the Together mission. I'd like to welcome all the student entrepreneurs that are here today. We can't wait to meet you. The trainers, the mentors, the students you're going to meet from Schulich are all wound up and ready to go. We've been reviewing your applications, looking at your ideas, so many exciting things that you want to get done together. We'd like to welcome the Schulich students, both joining us from our campus in Hyderabad, and also our students in Kiel, who are all ready to roll up their sleeves and get to work on this exciting project. You know, we've now supported more than 1,000 student entrepreneurs from India in the last several years. And as you know, we've raised more than 100,000 in seed funding for those companies that have gone on. Many of them are now building and growing and scaling beautiful businesses, all focused on the social impact that is going to make a beautiful change and addition and bring inspirations to Indian society. We're so excited for our partnership with Startup India as well. And so with that, I'm going to pass over to Sash to talk to us about his perspective on the event and why he's excited to be here.
Thanks a lot, Chris. As always, it's an absolute pleasure. You see, I mean, look at what happened last year, right? I joined the Together journey last year with you, with Surbhi, with Shrev, and everybody. I mean, just to see the impact of what we're doing. Let's forget the numbers. You mentioned, Director Sir mentioned, we have now more than 1,000 students who have been helped. We have more than 100,000 Canadian dollars in seed funding. But let's look at exactly what we're doing through this bridge that we've created, right? We're having Canadian students and Indian students work together, not just on a particular problem, not just on a particular problem statement or a startup idea or a business idea, right? We have them working together on what it means to have a business, what it means to have a startup, how our ideas even shaped. These students who are interacting with each other, they're at a fairly nascent stage in their lives, right? Their minds are fairly malleable. They are fairly young, highly energized. And it's at this stage that we're having this mix of ideas, this pool of ideas coming together and ensuring that no matter who joins this program, their idea for what constitutes a business, for what constitutes a better tomorrow is A, global, and B, consistent with global priorities. So I think that, you know, this program is not just associated with a challenge or a problem statement and a competition. This goes far beyond that. This goes into defining what entrepreneurship will be for thousands of young students, both in India and in Canada. And I think that's, for me, the most exciting part of this journey. So really, really looking forward to not just the exciting speakers that we have today, but for the entire program through to October.
Thanks, Ash. And so let's talk about some of the people that we're going to meet this morning at a high level. That we're not going to do intros here to every individual because they're going to get their full intro when we bring them on stage. but we have a wonderful group of honorable guest speakers that are going to talk to us about their perspective about the bridge between our two countries, about the startup ecosystem, about this initiative and this project. Continuing along, you're also going to hear words of inspiration from Canada, from some really compelling entrepreneurs. You don't want to miss their stories and what they're going to share with you. They're going to leave you with some goosebumps at certain points of inspiration as you get going. And we also have words of inspiration from India as well, too, where you'll hear from a great Indian tech ecosystem leader and their perspective on what we're doing here today and why it's so important. Then, as we continue, you're going to get the opportunity and lean in here, student entrepreneurs from India and student teams from Schulich, to hear from last year's champion. This is going to be very important because the tips and the insights and the inspirations that he's going to bring to you from last year will give you some thoughts and some guidance on the journey ahead in the next 45 days. You'll get the chance to meet from Kartik. Kartik is one of the Schulich students who joined that team last year, and he'll give his insights in terms of what it was like to be teaming up from our end at Schulich. And you'll get to hear the reflections of one of our mentors as well, too, who will share the mentor journey. Continuing along, we're now going to pass it over to you, Suresh, for our first introduction in this next section.
Thanks a lot, Chris. So with that, I'm going to welcome Mr. Siddharth Nath. He's a career diplomat. He joined the Indian Foreign Services in 2003. He has been posted in the Embassy of India in Beijing and on the permanent mission of India to the Conference of Disarmament in Geneva. Prior to his appointment as the Consul General of India in Toronto, he served as India's Deputy High Commissioner in Singapore. At headquarters in New Delhi, he has served in the United Nations as desk officer of Afghanistan and Iran, and in the National Security Council Secretariat in New Delhi. He has served as director in the Prime Minister's office in New Delhi, and then headed the Internal Finance Division of the Ministry of External Affairs. He has studied economics at the Delhi School of Economics and Northwestern University in the US. So without further ado, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Suyash. Let me begin by thanking Mr. Chris Carter of the Schulich Business School and Ms. Shivangi, and of course Suyash and all the teams on both sides for putting together this very exciting event. Also significant is the invaluable role of all the partners and the mentors and the advisory councils, program managers, and the corporate entities that have partnered in this initiative, because I know that it takes a lot of effort, there's a lot of expertise, a lot of people have given their time, so that's so wonderful. The fourth edition, I mean, it's so heartening to see that this initiative has grown so much, in strength and scale over the last few years. And as Suyash said, it is a pretty unique event. It's Entrepreneurship Bootcamp, Venture Camp competition, and it is indeed a bridge between these two leading innovation economies. And truly, sitting here in Toronto, I've been here only for a couple of months, but I can sense very much that the true potential of this partnership, of this bridge, of this collaboration is only just beginning to be seen. I'd like to, broadly make 3 points very briefly. First, initiatives like Together For are of great significance as they help formalize innovative ideas, of course, into financially and environmentally sustainable business models. But I think more important is the whole process, the process of collaboration and the process of fostering the business and social leaders of tomorrow. And in that, the theme of this fourth edition is particularly relevant to the times that we are in. Secondly, India itself is on the cusp of a very exciting revolution. We are all aware of the figures, the third largest startup ecosystem, the number of unicorns that are radiating outwards, not just in the big cities, but in smaller towns as well, not just in traditional sectors, but in unconventional sectors as well. And just the sheer enthusiasm, the ideas, and the drive that we see is quite unprecedented, I think, in India. There's also been the creation of digital and physical infrastructure in India over the past few years that's provided a very conducive environment for the startup revolution. It's created the opportunities not only for these startups, but also for established companies globally that want to co-create mutual success. And we see that here as well in Toronto, where there's an unprecedented level of interest in India, not only as a market, not only as an ecosystem, not only for the skills that it brings, but also for the dynamism and the potential. And which brings me to the third point about the India-Canada Innovation Corridor. This initiative is only one part of what I hope will be a self-sustaining and a long-term the collaboration that we already see in place, because both India and Canada have very strong and diverse startup ecosystems. On our side, of course, we have the large and dynamic and talented startup ecosystem, but Canada itself is also a world leader in science and technology and innovation, and in recognizing opportunities around the world, increasingly diversifying its overseas collaborations. And it's also one of the most innovative and competitive economies in the world. So we have a lot, of course, to learn from Canada, but there are mutual benefits to this partnership and enormous scope, as I said, to further strengthen the partnership and create innovative solutions that will solve global problems. I would just like to end by offering all the support from Government of India, from the Consulate General of India in Toronto and the High Commission of India, not just for this event, but also for the future collaboration. We do believe that today's event provides a very interesting opportunity for student entrepreneurs from both countries to collaborate and contribute to the growth of the two nations. And I'm sure they learn, as in previous editions, which have been very successful. I'm sure that the entrepreneurs will learn from each other's experiences and perspectives and find numerous opportunities to co-create, not only in this event, but also going forward. I would like to wish all the participants all the very best. And once again, thank the Schulich School of Business and Startup India and all the other partners for putting together what is a truly remarkable event. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Consul General. We really appreciate your words of inspiration here this morning and your guidance to the students and the community as we go ahead. I really enjoyed the time we've had to meet each other as you've arrived in Toronto and get to understand your inspiration and your vision for the relationship and for that bridge. And we're welcoming and appreciating your words today, but also promising you that we're excited for the mission together to lean in friendship and find ways to collaborate and work together to build more bridges and connections between the two countries and within the country to find an increasing number of leaders to help support your good work and the work that we're doing together. So thank you again this morning for joining us, and we'll continue on. Have a great day. So Yash, back over to you for our next introduction.
Yeah. Chris, so the next guest, I have the privilege of meeting her in office almost every day. Ms. Astha Grover is the head of Startup India under the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade at the Ministry of Commerce. Startup India is the flagship initiative of the Government of India, and this was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi in January 2016. She's been the founding member of the team, and she has seen the ecosystem very closely, and she's grown to become, she's been throughout this journey of India becoming the third largest startup ecosystem in the world today. And the Startup India Hub was announced by the Honorable Prime Minister, as I said, in 2016, which is hosted under Invest India. She has served as members of various startup committees, including the Samridh Committee under MITI, the Steering Committee of FCDO, Nidhi TBI Awards, Telecom Center of Excellence, Powerthon, and I could go on and on. But truly, Chris, Astha is a true leader, a guide, a mentor, and most importantly, a friend. And so it's with absolute pleasure that I invite Astha. Astha, over to you.
Thank you so much, Schulich. Thank you, Chris. Good morning to everyone from Canada and good evening to all my friends from India. Thank you so much for joining us for this launch ceremony today. Thank you, Honorable Excellency Shri Siddharthnath, our Director Sumit Kumar General, Mr. Ashwin Joshi, and to the entire team who has tirelessly worked on this program back to back. I can't believe it's the 4th edition now. It just seems yesterday when we launched this bridge between India and Canada. to harness the skill sets of the power of ideas, of how ideas could be turned into realities, into startups, into entrepreneurship ventures. And I'm extremely grateful to Schulich, to Chris, and to the to his entire team for bringing out this program so beautifully well, taking learnings from every edition and ensuring it gets implemented in the next one to make it bigger and better. As Suyash was mentioning, we've seen how India has nurtured the wave of startups in India. When I started, there were a handful of startups, only about a 400 or a 500 that were there with the government. Today, as I speak, there are about 100,000 startups that have come from the length and breadth of the country. And, I truly believe that startups are the powerhouse of the future. If you look at any consumer trend that has changed of how we make payments, of how we order groceries, of how we order food supplies, of how we order medicines, of how we do the bookings, at least in India, all these changes are driven by startups who identified a niche area, who identified a problem, and who said that, okay, let me make the life simpler by this tech intervention. And truly, unlike, these startups are the ones who have changed how we operate, how we breathe, how we live. I don't remember the last time I saw my wallet or a currency cash. Everything is right here in my phone, through which I make all the payments, I do all the bookings, and I do everything. And mostly it is a startup app that I'm using. And I think that is where the power of startups lies today. You are the ones that are changing how we operate. You are the ones that are driving consumer trends. It is not any Fortune 500 company or a big MNC. So believe in the power of your idea. And this platform can give you an excellent mentorship, can provide you to learn from the mistakes of others. So you're free to make your own mistakes. It will nurture you, it will challenge you, it will question your hypothesis, and it will actually make you work on an idea where you are actually solving a problem for the masses and not solving a problem which you feel is big enough for you. So I think, getting those challenges, getting that validation from the right side of mentors and investors is critical, and this program is able to fulfill that gap. I'm happy to share that, in India, Sir was also saying, we've grown leaps and bounds, not just in the number of startups I mentioned, which has grown like a rapid pace of 19x, but even the number of unicorns from only a handful to about 111 now. And with every growing ecosystem, we need increase in the number of funding in the ecosystem. We need a supporting infrastructure with the incubation that we have. And what has been the impact of this, right? Today, startups alone have created jobs worth 10.5 lakh. And these are only direct jobs. If you look at the indirect number, they're going to be much, much higher, usually a multiplier of 3x. The valuation created by unicorns alone is about $350 billion, right? And this is only the unicorns. If you add this unicorns and the other startups, it will just multiply. So I believe that, the narrative is changing, with the startups also finding a part of the New Delhi Leadership Declaration Summit, and Startup 20 being the official engagement group being taken forward under India's presidency to Brazil, and startups being a name of global conversation. I believe the power to change the narrative, the power of ideas to work and impact the economy is there is no better time than now, with the entire support of this ecosystem. So kudos to you all for taking the first step, for dreaming about an idea, and for coming to this platform, for getting it nurtured. I wish all of you all the very best. And once again, thank you, Suyash, thank you, Chris, and your entire team for putting this together and for helping nurture these ideas into reality. Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asif, for joining us this morning. We really appreciate your time. And what I want to say to you is that you're thanking us for dreaming. We want to say thank you to you for enabling our dreams of putting this together, of doing this. When we first had this idea, It was a sparkle of a moment where a member of your team reached out and said, what if we did? And then we started to build together and just collaborate and brainstorm, and it's turned into something beautiful. But your leap of faith in us to do this has allowed us to create it. So thank you for that. And thank you for your wonderful team who, alongside us, are working multiple time zones at the same time to make it all happen. And their efforts are tireless and their creativity is boundless. And we appreciate it. And we appreciate you for supporting us. Thank you very much. So with that, I'm going to do one quick thing before we introduce our next guest. I'm going to say to everyone, please let's make the chat an interactive space and a place to, engage each other. If you have comments, if you want to give props to someone who's made a comment in the speeches and you want to celebrate that, please do. I've dropped my LinkedIn link into the chat there. You can find me on LinkedIn and we can connect, see if there's some connections that we can set up for you. And also just maybe introduce yourself as well, too, so that we all get to hear about you and why you're here, whether you're here with Schulich, whether you're here as one of the entrepreneurs, and we'll all start to build the energy of this community together. And I can see the comments starting to roll in, which is great. Well, next up, I have the honor and the privilege of introducing Professor Ashwin Joshi, who is the Associate Dean of Programs and the director of the MBA in India program at the Schulich School of Business. So much of what we've done and built here today is inspired by all the groundwork and the foundation that he's built between the Schulich School of Business and between the country of India. He's an inspiration to all of us. And as I joined the Schulich School of Business and had to find my own way around and figure out what I was doing, he was one of the guides and the mentors and the coaches. We all have mentors in our lives, and he's one of my mentors to help me to figure out my academic world and journey in this space. And still, even to this day, 4 or 5 years later, he gets at least one desperate WhatsApp message a week from me to say, hey, how do I do this? So Ashwin, welcome this morning, and we're looking forward to your remarks.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Chris, for that very warm welcome. I had a number of points that I wanted to make, but they've all been taken. So let me, I wanted to talk about Schulich. That's been covered. I wanted to talk about our commitment to the India-Canada corridor. That's been covered, and it's been covered by people far more knowledgeable than me. I just want to say one thing, and that is, Chris mentioned the word community, and very similar phrase for me is that of ecosystem. What Chris has managed to put together working with Startup India and the various partners is a wonderful synergistic ecosystem. May it continue to thrive. My next few comments are directed to the students. Let me tell you this is going to be the most challenging experience of your academic curriculum. It's going to expose you, it's this impact of ideas on reality. Ideas can change reality, but ideas can also be changed by reality. And what you're going to learn over the course of this process is this interplay between ideas and reality. Indeed, it's the very essence of education. And this is a wonderful opportunity for you to do that. I want all of you as students to invest fully in this process, because the rewards are massive. There are rewards in terms of personal transformation. There are rewards in terms of transforming your country. And there are rewards in terms of transforming the lives of people around. And there's rewards in terms of transforming the world. Truly, the scope of what you're about to embark upon is immense. So let's invest. Let's engage and let's thrive. Thanks again, Chris. Thanks again, Startup India, for the creation, for driving this amazing ecosystem. I look forward to being part of Together 10.0. So thanks.
Thank you so much, sir, for the kind words. I think you've captured this really well, particularly when you talk about the transcendence of ideas into reality. And the converse being true as well. So thank you so much for your words. I think that's one thing the students will really take away here, throughout the journey. Thank you so much. Chris, over to you.
Well, next up, we have the opportunity to introduce one of our Schulich alumni, Kumar. And Kumar is an MBA grad from 2021. He has his own journey and history, arriving from India to Toronto and coming through the Schulich program. and now beginning to build out his business. Kumar is the founder of Keel, a company on a mission to make immigration easy and straightforward for people and governments around the world. And he's been a contributor and mentor and advisor now throughout our different programs working with students. We're really in a world where we believe that paying it forward is the order of the day. And when you work through our programs, you then start to achieve success and build, and you come back and contribute. And that message is out there to all the young student entrepreneurs from India. When you succeed, we'll be knocking on your door too and asking you one day to come back, and you'll be the one on stage having some of these conversations. But Kumar, welcome, and we look forward to your words of inspiration on behalf of the Schulich alumni.
Thank you so much, Chris, for the introduction. Good morning and good evening, everyone. As I speak today, I'm reminded of the early days of the journey of my journey of building my first startup when I was in the final year of my bachelor's degree. So those were days filled with uncertainty, moments of self-doubt and countless sleepless nights, right? But then here's the interesting thing about entrepreneurship. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey and the lessons that we learn throughout this journey and the growth that we experience. That's where events such as Together 4.0 play a crucial role. I was a participant in Together 2021. And I would like to thank Schulich Startups, Startup India, Invest India, sponsors, and volunteers involved in organizing this event. Events such as these, I feel, are super critical, especially for early stage entrepreneurs, to get the right mentorship, helping them avoid the most obvious mistakes. So I was thinking about what I would like to share within knowing where I come from and understanding my experience in Together 2021 when I was a participant then. I would like to share the top 5 lessons that I've learned throughout my journey as a fellow entrepreneur. So the number one lesson that I learned was embrace failures as lesson. Now, it's easier said than done, but this is the number one lesson that all of us need to learn. Steve Jobs, one of the visionaries behind Apple, once said, sometimes when you innovate, you make mistakes. It's best to admit them quickly and get on with improving other innovations. Every entrepreneur on the face of the earth has faced setbacks, and more often than not, it's not because of the external circumstances, but because of our limited understanding of the business overall, right? And a hypothesis we never test. If we aren't humble enough to have an unbiased approach towards a business, admit our mistakes and learn, we might win the ego war, but we'll lose in our business, right? So the second lesson is build relationships, not just networks. Now, this has been super critical and crucial to my journey. In my journey, I've realized that genuine relationships trump transactional networks. Ratan Tata, an iconic Indian entrepreneur, champions this. He mentions take the stones people throw at you and use them to build a monument. Anything good that I've achieved so far isn't just me, but the community of well-wishers, mentors, and allies I've found along the way. Your network might open a door for you, but it's the strength of the relationship that keeps it open. Third lesson that I would like to share is stay curious. Curiosity didn't just kill the cat, it fuels the entrepreneur. It's what drove Elon Musk as well to delve into rockets and electric cars, wherein he had no formal training. To win big, we need to let go of the silently accepted opinions and rules within the industry. But the challenge is that the accepted opinions might actually be right. So our chances of being right by challenging the existing understanding is supremely less. So unless we are curious, we would never be able to win big. Now, the number one lesson that essentially I've learned through the patience and throughout this journey is that resilience is the key, right? So there will be days when everything seems to be falling apart. Remember, it's the hardest times that teach us the most valuable lessons. During one such phase in my journey, when investors backed out and future looked bleak, I recalled the words of Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba, who faced countless rejections in his early days. He says, today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine. I held on to the sunshine, and that has helped me be resilient against many storms. The fifth lesson that I would like to share is stay rooted. Now, this is super important because in the flurry of growth, it's easy to lose sight of your why, the reason why you embarked on this journey. Throughout the journey, we've held, like in our journey, like we held our core values, our vision together, right? But then this reminds me of the grounded approach of Narayan Murthy, the founder of Infosys. Like, despite building $1 billion company, he still remains humble, reminding us that performance leads to recognition. Recognition builds respect. Respect enhances power, and humility and grace in one's moments of power enhances the dignity of an organization. So to all the budding entrepreneurs here, like as we set forth on our ventures, let's remember that the journey of entrepreneurship is a tapestry of failures, successes, lessons, and growth. The people around might not understand your vision today, but if we do it right, with persistence, passion, and humility, one day it will happen. So dream big, stay persistent, and let the essence of why guide you. Because as entrepreneurs, in our heart, it just doesn't lie the desire to succeed, but also the willingness and the will to make a difference in the world. So that's what I would like to share with you today, and would like to wish every participant the best of luck in your journey ahead. You'll love it. Enjoy this moment. Question yourself, question your hypothesis, learn from everybody around you, and then make it happen as well for yourself and everybody around yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kumar, for your words. I think what you said truly resonates, I think, with each and every one of the entrepreneurs here and beyond the Together program as well. I think when you spoke of the challenges that entrepreneurs face, right? The ups and the downs, the uncertainties, and yet the positivity that you've distilled, not just in your expression, but that you embody in your work, I think that's truly inspirational. And a lot of students here would want to take that away from this. So thank you so much for your words.
Thank you, Kumar. It was great to see you. And everyone, I love now that we're getting some energy going in the chat and people are starting to comment on each other's, on the presentations. We've got some introductions coming and some LinkedIn invites for everybody. You're going to find that as you go through the program, that the energy that you bring to each other, you're going to receive 100-fold back in return. And the core principle of all the communities that are the startup communities that Schulich runs is that energy, is that collective spirit. So I love seeing that. Keep it going. Keep your comments coming in and keep the introductions coming. And I'm hoping to meet you all soon on LinkedIn as well, too. Well, Suyash, next up we have Galen, and Galen is a very important leader in the York University entrepreneurial ecosystem. He's a program manager and advisor, but really like a mentor and like a supremely wise person to have in your camp if you're a startup at the university. And he's been an entrepreneur in his own right, a technology executive with a wide variety of corporations, including IBM, and also was instrumental in running one of the angel networks in our area of Ontario here in Canada, York Angels, where I got to meet him. In this capacity, he's been an ongoing mentor for our student companies here in the Together program. And last year, he was one of the 2 championship mentors. Every student gets a Canadian and an Indian mentor on their team. So again, students, lean into what he has to say, because you're now coming into the section of the program where you're meeting some of the champion advisors and commentators. Galen, welcome this morning, and we can't hear what you have to say.
Thank you very much, Chris, for the introduction and the kind words. This has been such a fantastic program to be part of. This will be my 4th year now. And I think one of the really interesting things I've seen is the maturation of the startups and the founders from the very beginning of this program. I think kudos, first of all, to both leads of the programs, both in Canada and India, for sparking this. But I think just the ongoing mentorship that goes along in both countries, I think is fantastic. Working with Akshay and his team at Stimular, it was, I think to me, was the culmination of where we've seen this program going. Great technology, but not only that, these are founders, a founder who would listen, take feedback and advice, and really start to look at how they could stand out. And that I think is one of the things that you have to look at as founders and as leaders in your company, is that you may have great technology, but it's how you relay the story and how you can put it all together so you can stand out in front of investors. And then from there, be able to get the door open so that you can get into a due diligence conversation. And the frustration I think that most founders find is that how do I get the attention of an investor, and how do I continue to then move the needle toward investment? And I was so happy to hear that Stimulator was able to land an investment after we were done. Not only did they win the competition last year, but this was a team and a technology that I think really was hitting on an area that was required. And so they were able to then springboard from this competition to land some funding. But more importantly, they've continued to grow. They've continued to grow their users and grow the company. So that, again, is a testimony to where you can come out of this program and what you can do with it. And then I think part of it is when you work with your mentors, not only understanding what you need in your home country and listening to the advisors outside, but then from what the mentors can do on this side is sort of help you formulate the conversation around what the investor pool in North America might be looking for, or how do you then bridge your product into a Canadian North American market, because these are quite different. And we had great conversations about how Stimulator's product could work in different geographies in the world, not only in India, but in other countries, emerging economies that needed that kind of technology. So I think embrace what your mentors can provide for you. We have short windows of time with you, and I think it's listening and then being able to then get the feedback and advance your project through the culmination up to the demo day and the conversations around that. And so again, I love this program. I think it's been a real sea change on what we can do. I have a global background from my corporate side, and this to me is just a great way to tap into a wonderful community of entrepreneurs. So, I love being part of this. I'm looking forward to who we get to see next time and coming through. And again, congratulations to Stimulator and Akshay and their team, and to Schulich and what you guys know put together.
Hey, Galen, I have two really quick questions for you, and then we'll continue on with the program and meet this awesome team you're talking about. One is, what do you think is the key to a student team being well prepped and ready to make the best use of your time as a mentor when they show up? Because we're going to get these 3 mentor sessions in the core program during that week. How do they make your time with them the most valuable possible?
That's a great question. I think that, again, we've seen it in different stages where some didn't get the most out of it. I think it's getting your materials to the mentors ahead of time. So if you can get something out to your mentors a day or 2 days, hopefully ahead of time. So if you've got a pitch deck that you've got any kind of verbiage, or if you've got a video of it, get it to them ahead of time so that we don't have to spend the first 15 minutes of a half hour or 40-minute call going through that. We can actually start to give feedback. And then be able to work through the problems and have a very open conversation. I think it's, we've had some where there's a little bit, some challenge that sort of comes through, and I don't mind that, but if we get bogged down on one area of a deck or a conversation, it can derail the 30 minutes you have. So I think it's getting your materials ahead of time to your mentors, and then being able to take the feedback and understand it. And then you can use your email and other communication tools to question, right? To come back and maybe challenge through that, because that's a little more of a long form and gives time for some answers versus that 30 minutes. You want to try to absorb and let the mentors provide you as much information back during that session as possible.
Fantastic answer. And the last follow-up for that is with Stimulator and with Akshay, what was that energy that they brought to you that allowed you to also be excited? Because I find in that coaching mentor relationship, when you really want to go that next level and help them out in a big way, there's something that's a sparkle in that entrepreneur that gets you engaged. So do you remember anything about those interactions and what made them so energized?
Yeah, I think it's the first session that I think it was just sort of the feeling around getting to know each other. I think the next one was the next session was much more of a, they felt comfortable, I felt comfortable, and the other mentors, we all felt comfortable having open dialogue and conversation. So it started to bring them out of their shell. And I think, but that's a common thing with a lot of founders is you're really often afraid to bring your idea out into the public, right? We call it here in Canada, it's like, I want to take the car out of the garage, right? You're afraid to do that sometimes. And so that first meeting is a little bit about that. I think you have to embrace the fact that we all, for entrepreneurs, we've been through this before, right? So don't be afraid to open up the covers. And that's what Stimular did. They kind of let us in on what they were doing. And by the end, our last session, I think, was a very, very open dialogue and conversation. And you could see them really embracing, and I'll let Akshay talk to that himself, but they suddenly understood, here's the story we have to tell and how we have to tell it. And I think that was that openness kind of, I don't think you can expect it right away. It is almost like dating. There's a little bit of getting to know each other, but then that if you have a right gel, it will come together and everyone starts to get excited about what the project is.
Wonderful. So yeah, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Galen, for your words. I think I genuinely hope all the students here had their notepads out. I hope they were scribbling everything that you were talking about, because I think there was a lot of important practical advice on just how to be a startup, right? How to just be good at everything that you're doing in your address. So I hope they had their notepads out. If not, I hope they go back and look at the recordings. So thank you so much for giving us your time. Thank you so much for your words.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was the perfect way to segue into our next guests. And you've heard a little bit about them through Galen's eyes. Now let's meet Stimular, the first place team, the championship team from last year with Akshay. And we'll also be bringing Kartik on stage as well. And Kartik was the Schulich student who was guiding and working with them. So let's get them in here and have a conversation with them about their experience, about the process, and about what it was that what they learned along the way. So guys, welcome.
Thanks, Chris. Really glad to be here.
Wonderful. Let's get them highlighted up there. Okay, there we go, guys. So you're with us live. So, all right, students, everyone watching this broadcast, here we are. We've got the champion, and we've got one of their key advisors from last year. So for you, Team Stimular, we're going to start off and just talk a little bit about your journey last year. What was the motivation and what was the moment that you were at when you applied for Together 2023, the 3.0 edition?
So I think the best format would be to just tell a little bit about the product, about the company, and then we can get started with our journey with Together. So Stimular, in a very core sense, it is a product for people who are English as a second language speakers, so who already understand English, but they're not really fluent. And the way the product works for them is gives them a platform to practice their conversational skills and get live feedback on that. So that is a very simple way of explaining what Stimular does. We started Stimular in our third year. So I was at IIT BHU and we started in our third year. We didn't apply for the first edition of Together. I don't know why, but probably I heard about it too late. So when I applied to Together, we were running Stimular for approximately 6 months to 1 year. And I think we had started to grow, but we were pretty early. So it was just the founders. We had, I think, 20,000, 25,000 users. So that was the stage where we were at Together. And by the end of the Together, and right now we are at 350,000 users. We have raised a VC round. We have raised multiple VC rounds, and yeah, we are going good. So it's been a good journey, and yeah, happy to talk more about it.
It's amazing. Sometimes I think, just to comment on that quickly, is that sometimes timing is everything, and you landed right in the competition you were meant to be in because you took the championship home for sure.
I was about to mention it. There's a saying in Hindi when we say "Der aaye durust hai." I'm sure you understand what that means. So yeah, you landed there at the perfect moment. I wanna sort of have a follow up on that. Throughout your journey with Together, what was that one memorable moment that you took away from that journey? What was that one moment that you would want to recount here?
So I think like competitions like together are slightly different than your usual startup competitions, primarily because it's not a one-time pitch event. Like what happens with student startups often is that you do competitions just for a prize, or you do competitions just for a like one-time pitching opportunity. What's different in together, that is not a one-time thing, it's a 2 month thing, which brings a lot more seriousness into it, which means that you're not competing in a competition, but you are participating in a journey. I think that was the number one thing for me. I remember like I went to the first session, and that's why when Kellen was speaking about it, and everyone said that, you are pitching too fast, no one will understand, and this is such a big problem. And I think over the next 3 sessions, as well as the last pitch feedback we had, this is something I just worked on gradually and gradually and gradually. I don't think I was able to get over it, and even today, but yeah, I think that was pretty fun because you had one area where you knew you were struggling and you kind of got over it. So that was pretty fun in terms of pitch, and I think Galen particularly was super helpful. So all of our interactions with him, and I in fact messaged him I think a week before from now, thanking him for everything he did doing together. So yeah, it's been a great ride.
Hey, I'm going to ask Kartik for you to join us and jump into the conversation now, so we get you in here too. Quickly, do you remember the moment where you met Stimular, and tell us a little bit about how you landed in this journey? And here today, we also have online with us in the session all the students from India, from Schulich, and from Canada who will be playing this role. Take us back to that moment where you joined together and what you were seeing.
Yes, absolutely. First of all, it was so great to see you, Chris, and Akshay as well. The moment when I was paired with Stimular, I mean, I immediately sort of had realized I had done a little bit of background research before our first meeting, I remember, and I remember that I was very excited. That I was excited about the team. I was excited about the idea that they had, and also in the very first meeting, I was just taken away with the passion and the zeal of the co-founders, including Akshay, and with what clarity of mission that they spoke of what are they trying to do, who they are, and how they're trying to go about it. So it was basically like a raw diamond that needs some bit of polishing through the Together program, and I think that's exactly what happened. And I'm very, very happy to have contributed in a very small way to Akshay, to Stimular, and also to the Together mission.
Well, we appreciate all the effort you put into it, and I know Akshay does as well too. He'll get a second, and here he'll get the thank you as well. Just one other message for the students here today from Schulich: how has the experience in Together unlocked other opportunities for you in terms of your journey to Canada, and what are you up to now?
So honestly, the Together experience was my first formal introduction to the world of startups, and actually working with actual startup founders, developing their pitch, developing their storyline, developing their presentation. Because as someone who's passionate about India as a whole, I was a bystander, just reading news about these great startups doing great things, and raising amazing amounts of money from abroad, generating interest. I always felt, okay, fine, how will I ever be a part of the ecosystem, given that I hadn't delved into entrepreneurship back in India. So I was just more than happy to be actually paired with Akshay, with Galen, and all the other mentors, and to learn along the way. Okay, fine. How challenging is the journey for a founder, and what are the different fires that they have to take out in order to progress, and how quickly they have to adapt. And I think Akshay had mentioned very rightly that in his very first pitch he was a little too fast. I still remember that day, and I clearly remember the feedback, and the sort of knowledge I had gained from the very first meeting that we had. so that was something really interesting to see the founders grow throughout the process, So if I just compared Akshay pitching on day one and on the competition day, there was a small difference. So that was definitely one of the key takeaways of how quickly people have to transform themselves, how they have to learn, how they have to be quick on their feet. And apart from that, what opportunities? I mean, definitely it helped me build a very good network. And apart from that, I also decided later on to delve into the world of venture capital, and I had the opportunity to be working with one of the premier early stage VC funds here in Canada over the summer. And I think in the interview process itself, I think the experience with Together and Stimler really helped, and they could really see how what value I brought to the competition, and I think that was one of the key differentiators for me to get the opportunity. So yeah, it has benefited me a lot in my professional career as well.
So thank you for that, Kartik. And Akshay, now you get to celebrate not only the fact in this moment, like what you're doing with your company, we want to talk more about that, but look at just you joining the competition and Kartik getting that opportunity. And now he's a venture associate with Antler Canada that got unlocked for him. So everybody's winning in this process. Actually, tell us a little bit about like what's the last year been like for you since the competition, and maybe anything that you've taken away from the competition that helped you in the last year.
Yeah, I think the Post Together journey has been amazing. The first thing which we all talked about is that the pitch got improved, and that always helps you. But I think just from the finale, I remember when the finale happened, like within 24 hours, I got reach outs from a unicorn founder of India. I got reach outs from a partner of a leading VC in India. I got multiple reach outs on LinkedIn talking about us and stuff. So I think that was a great start right off the bat. But also, I think it just helped us get more confident in our pitch, because when you have people like that judging, you are kind of giving a VC pitch in itself. And Gallen's a VC in Canada itself. So his feedback as well as the feedback of the judges, that was pretty much like a VC feedback for us. So it helps us refine the pitch a lot. I think we closed our seed round with a global VC firm, Silicon Valley VC firm, along with a Japanese VC firm and the Indian angels. We closed the round in a month from then. So in April, we closed the round. And since the Together competition, I think we have grown approximately seven times in terms of user numbers. So right now we have roughly 350,000 users, and we have users from every single country in the world. So we have users from over 200 countries right now. Southeast Asia is the key. So the growth has been phenomenal, but I think where I see the most value getting added was the pitch, was the kind of feedback we got from Kartik, we got from Gallen, we got from the judges in the finale. So I think that was a silver bullet, but yeah, it was a good experience as well, because from January to March, it was one of the biggest phases of growth for us. Particularly, we were starting from being a college project to being a Schulich startup. So Together kind of coincided with that. So yeah, it was a great journey overall. It was really amazing to know that Kartik also made it to the venture world. Yeah.
So Yash, over to you to wrap us up with this section of the program.
Thank you so much, Kartik and Akshay. I think you guys have presented one of the most relatable examples of what the students can expect going into this program, right? I think you're going to see a lot of messages and texts from a lot of these students reaching out to you to ask you more about your experiences, to ask you more about how they can make the most of their Together journey, just like you have. So again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your time and your words.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day, guys. All the best. Bye.
Thank you, guys. And I wish all the participants and students are very all the best for the competition.
Yep. So I think continuing from that, our next guest speaker is Ms. Ankita Joshi. She's the Vice President of Finance at Lightspeed India Partners. At Lightspeed, she oversees everything from investor reporting to fund controllership, tax and audit compliances, as well as acting as a thought partner across varied domains of finance operations for startups. Prior to her tenure at Lightspeed, she worked with McKinsey & Company, where her pivotal role involved spearheading the global OPEX planning and budgeting efforts for the organization. I think she's a speaker that a lot of you can learn a lot from. And without any further ado, over to you.
So thank you so much for that introduction, Suresh. I'm truly honored to be part of Together 4.0 today. I have immense admiration and respect, for the young, ambitious minds who are actually the future innovators of the world joining this session today. You are actually the trailblazers, the dreamers, the visionaries who've decided to embark on this journey that demands courage, innovation, and resilience. So kudos to you guys. And today, being part of this group and looking at all the messages and the speakers, I feel extremely energized, as the Gen Z would put it. This vibe is so electric, and just want to share from my own journey and hopefully, give you a little bit of context around what I have learned in a decade and a half being part of this professional world. So I'll start with, my professional journey, which started in 2009. It was a humble beginning where I joined a bank in the branch banking section as a teller. For those of you who would not understand what a teller does, I'll just step back a little bit in time. And, this was a time when banks were not as fancy. The fintech revolution had not kicked in, and you actually had to go to a branch to withdraw cash and interact with the person across the counter. So that was the teller. So the role was a humble beginning, but it actually taught me a lot because, I was interacting with almost 100 to 200 customers daily. Sometimes they were agitated, sometimes happy, but, it taught me a very important lesson of resilience. From there on, like Suyash mentioned, that, I joined McKinsey. I rose up the ranks in the company, working with the CFO of McKinsey and Company finally in different finance domains. It has given me an immense exposure to the talent across the organization, one of the best management consultancies of the world, and I can't be thankful enough for that. Moving on from there, I think a few years back, I got an opportunity to join Lightspeed, another top-tier global fund that actually supports early and growth stage technology startups in their journey of entrepreneurship. So over the years, I think there are a few life skills that have come in really handy for me, and I would just want to share with this group. I'm sure some of this might have already been covered, but you can't emphasize enough on these. So the first one being your power of purpose. That is so important. Like speakers before me said, entrepreneurship is not just about creating a product or service. It's also about solving a problem, how passionate you are to solve that problem, or fulfilling a need, or making the world a better place. Finding your why is so important in this journey. It'll be it'll give you a strong sense of purpose. You'll find your motivation and overcome all the obstacles during this journey. The second one being, and I'm sure that every single person would agree to this, the mentorship and building the right network is again one of the most valuable assets that you can have on this journey. With the network of highly experienced professionals and mentors from Startup India, as well as Schulich School of Business, you're actually on the right path already. So just give a pat on your back. These guidance can be transformative, and this network can actually open doors and provide opportunities that you've never even imagined. The third one being your learning should never stop, because the moment the learning stops, you actually become pretty complacent, and what you set out to achieve would not be possible. Giving a very practical example, this morning I was talking to my daughter. She's just 6 years old, but the way she came to me and solved a problem in such simple words, I had to step back and think that you don't need corporate jargons at times. A problem can be solved by as simple as breaking it down in a way a child can understand. So 50% of your problems would be solved that way. And finally, I think coming from a very personal space as well, taking care of your mental health and having a family support is extremely important in your journey. So because the highs would be very high and the lows might take you to one of the lowest points of your life. And so it is so crucial to prioritize your mental health. While setbacks and challenges are, of course, part of the journey, But remember that your well-being is actually not a luxury. It is a necessity for, the sustainable success. And your loved ones are basically your biggest cheerleaders in this journey. They are the sources of your strength. Make sure that you communicate with them, you involve them in your journey, let them know how much their support means to you. Because you know what, in our heads, we always think that they will know, but who doesn't like a compliment or two? I mean, I'm sure I would. So just, pick up your phone after the session and just make sure that you give a call back to all your loved ones, telling them how much they mean to you. And finally, so I think finally, I would just want to leave you with a real life story of, one of the entrepreneurs who was so determined to succeed that he actually tried selling pet rocks. Yeah, you heard that right. He thought that he could convince people to buy ordinary rocks as pets. It might sound absurd, but his creativity and sense of humor were his driving forces. Although this did make him a millionaire as well, but the point is that it made a lot of people smile. For those of you, you've not heard his name, he was Gary Dahl, and he actually made a fortune selling low maintenance pets. So I think with that, good luck to each one of you. I wish from the bottom of my heart that, your entrepreneurial journey be filled with immense success and fulfillment. Don't be afraid to think out of the box, embrace the humor in your journey, and remember, even the craziest ideas can lead to success. So just go out there and create your unique path. Thank you so much.
Ankita, thank you so much today for your words of inspiration. I really appreciate that you took a moment to talk about mental health, to talk about really making sure that the students are taking care of themselves along this journey now, but along the wider journey as well. And I really appreciate how you talked about, reaching out to loved ones and connecting with them about that. There's an important part of staying connected and appreciating the people around us that is often forgotten in this journey. I think you're really going to love this next session when you talk about the power of youth and what they're doing and the inspirations that they have. We're going to be now bringing on stage Sultan Akif and his daughters, Anna and Fatima. Now, I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with the three of them, and they are a true inspiration here in Canada. You'll be hearing from them today. I could read their whole bio, but I will just tell you that Sultan is a dear friend who is passionately inspired to create new possibilities for young people all across the country and around the world with his work. He works now in his daytime job at Microsoft as the account executive for unicorn and high growth startups here in Canada. But he's always infusing social purpose and passion and impact into every day within his work. And his daughters are a true treasure to have the opportunity to hear from. And we're very lucky today. Fatima and Anna are Canada's youngest social entrepreneurs, having built a $500,000 company by the age of 14 and 12. They were both on Dragon's Den. And unlike most entrepreneurs who are adults who go on the show, all 6 dragons made them an offer. They've spoken at 90 plus business conferences around the world as well. And they're here to join us today and share their special brand of inspiration and purpose with us. Over to the three of you, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, Chris, and thank you for that heartfelt introduction. I still remember the call from you 4 years ago when this was a dream, my friend, and look at, with hard work, perseverance, and vision, what you folks have put together. For everybody on the call, super honored to be here. My name is Sultan, and this is...
I'm Fatima, and I'm Amna.
And team, for those who have heard me before, I'm going to lean in with my heart. I think life is too short to do things any other way. And I'll take you to a jail in Colombia that I was exiting as I'd built a library there over a period of time. And when I was leaving, these amazing, amazing youths became my family. I'm on a mission to build 100 libraries all over the world, and I believe this was early on in the process. And I remember as I was exiting, this old saying, and I'll say it in Hindi, that came to my mind, which was, Meri divangi pe, ye hosh wale behas farmaye. From a distance, our actions seem illogical, irrational. Why are you doing entrepreneurship? Why can't you just be complacently sitting within within a big organization? Or why are you pursuing your purpose? In my case, I put myself sometimes in danger to build these. It makes no sense. And then the second part of that is, magar pehle inhe divana banne ki zarurat hai. You first have to fall in love with your purpose, with who you are and what the change you want to drive in the world. And then everything will make sense. And those that judge you will come and dance with you. My dear friends, I wanted to start with that heartfelt message. We're going to pour our energy into these 10 minutes. And even if it inspires one of you to look at your business differently, to find that extra oomph, to go the extra mile to solve the world's biggest problems, then it would all be worth it. So I could have started this by sharing some of the other things I've done. I've built multiple businesses. We built the largest youth empowerment event in Canada. But I wanted to start with that moment, because it is incredibly important as you embark on this journey of entrepreneurship, and you are entrepreneurs today, because you are showing up willing to solve big problems and lean in. It is super important, beyond all the buzzwords, beyond the perfect pitch, to sleep tonight and ask yourself, do you even care about the problem you're trying to solve? And if the answer isn't an overwhelming yes, my dear friends, then solve another problem. Don't make the mistake of embarking and building one of your most beautiful legacies on the foundation of anything else but purpose. And it would change every aspect of your life. It changed mine physically, from being someone that was feeling very drained to running Ironmans. It changed the life of my family. And we've done a lot of keynotes around the world, but this is a first where we're doing it together. And it is my honor to introduce Fatma and Amna to share their story on how, when we started to build libraries, the impact it had on them. Over to you, Fatma and Amna.
So, hello, we're Canada's youngest social entrepreneurs, and we are published authors of our book, which is Anything is Possible. And we have spoken at over 85 business conferences around the world. All 6 dragons on Dragon's Den made us an offer, and now we're on the mission to empower other girls to become entrepreneurs.
Throughout our journey, we realized the lack of women in the startup industry and in leadership positions.
We knew we had to take action, so we are launching an EdTech course, platform, and accelerator with the mission to empower every single girl to live her best life. Our platform helps 14 to 20-year-olds take an idea and turn it into a profitable business using an immersive online course and a step-by-step entrepreneurship bundle.
It is empowering and unique as it is based on our own experiences, made by young girl entrepreneurs
for young girl entrepreneurs. We would now like to share a poem that summarizes what this is all about and our mission to help other girls, while also recognizing the effort that role models put in to pave the path for young girls just like us.
So here it is. Not all of them got the spotlight in the darkness of the night. Every day they fought the fight, but often found themselves alone at night. To all the role models in the world, and to all those in my sight, to all those who paved the path, I recognize you. I recognize your sacrifice.
I follow in your footsteps down a path illuminated by your light. In the face of resistance, you did not give in. You stood up for what was right. You are strong. You are smart. You made a difference, and you are kind. I am inspired by the footsteps that I follow, and I am proud of the footsteps that I leave behind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And my dear friends, this is what I have. I don't know if you can fully see it. Being a dad of these amazing individuals is my superpower. And I believe every youth listening to this live, every youth that will see this on the net, every person who gets this message, I truly believe every youth has the power to make a difference and to build amazing things if they go beyond their self-doubt and they lean in to what they need to do. I'm going to leave you, I promised you a heartfelt part. I'm going to leave you with a story, my friends. And I really want you to open your hearts to it. So when I'm building out these libraries, some are deep in the Himalayas in Nepal, some are in the Amazon jungle, some are in Pablo Escobar's old neighborhoods. So they're challenging places. And we built the whole project in about 4 days in the spirit of agile development. And there's a story I share at the opening of the library. And it's a story of a person whose family fell on hard times. He had to drop out of school. He couldn't afford, all the amazing uniforms, and life was really, really tough. But with studies, with books, he got into a good university, but things didn't ease up. I know life, how challenging it can get when you're trying to struggle through. So whatever your struggles have been, I want you to go there in your mind in this moment as I narrate this. So I tell those kids that, you know what, that child would cycle an hour and a half each way just to have a shot at making a few extra dollars and trying to survive on $20 a month. So no matter where you are in the world, that's not enough to eat. But in the middle of all that was a little bookshop, and that bookshop was his spaceship, because he could go there and he could disappear. He could disappear in his dreams. He could disappear in the visions of what, one day he'll go out and meet all these amazing people and visit all these pictures. And it just seemed too big a dream, almost as if he didn't have a right to dream that big. But fueled by good mentors, fueled by good energy, fueled by good books, that dream, I tell those kids, and I'm telling you right now from the depths of my heart, that dream came true. He went to 87 countries around the world. He did everything he ever wanted. And when you are now embracing this biggest mission of your life and doubt sets in, embrace it, my dear friends, because it's a badge of honor for entrepreneurs. That boy is the man speaking to you right now. This is my story. So, this is my message to you. Ground yourself in deep purpose. This is why I build my library. So let me ask you again, why are you building your business? What problem in the world do you want to solve? How much do you care about it? And then all the other things you need to do will fall in place. We together are the solution to the world's biggest problems. And if you're feeling lonely, you know what? You've joined one of the best forums, the best communities to bring it all together. I just want to do a quick time check. Chris, do we have 2 minutes?
For you, we have 2 minutes, 1000%.
All right. I just want to leave you folks. I never prepare my speeches. I don't know if, Chris, you've heard many of my poems, if you've heard this one. So this is for you, brother, as much as for everybody else. And it comes from my heart. So it goes like this. It talks about feeling lonely when trying to drive change, and then the magic that it brings together. So I'm not from the far left, neither am I on the far right. I'm not a fan of pure capitalism, but neither is communism right. I'm not the anarchist you see on the street, but neither am I okay with systems that are not right. I too want to live a peaceful life, but I'm also ready for change, and I'm ready to work hard for the fight. But too many times on lonely nights, I feel like a man without a tribe. I know there are others like me that drift in the darkness of the night, holding on to their visions, their little lamps of purpose. They too search for the dawn. They too search for the light. The desire to conform is so strong, to every day and every night, to simply belong, to not have to fight. Being different, trying to solve problems is hard. It leads to many sleepless nights. Slowly but surely, it starts to feel all right to believe in what we believe in, whether it agrees with the left or with the right, to know that the reality around us is created by those that drifted before us in the darkness of the night. We are somebody's wildest dream. I follow in their footsteps. In their light, I find my light. Then others join from a distance and march towards the sight, such as together, the mission you're on. And others see it from a distance and march towards the sight. And then I had a thought that made my soul ignite. We are together the dawn we had searched for in those long, lonely nights. Together, our purposes are enough, because together they are really bright. Now I feel like a man on a purpose-driven tribe on a mission to illuminate everything that's in our sight. I wish you nothing but the best on your journey ahead. If I can be of service, if Fatmanamna can be of service, reach out to us. But you know what? You got this. Lean into your purpose. Don't worry. Don't doubt yourself. You will fail, but that's a badge of honor to go to heights that you were always meant to go for. I wish you nothing but the very best. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Sultan. It's always a pleasure hearing you. And I mean, wow, just the energy, the enthusiasm, and the passion that you bring. I think it's contagious. And I hope every student here catches the bug. And to Amna and Fatima, you know, usually when they say age is just a number, they usually are talking about the other end of the spectrum. You guys truly embody the confidence, the energy, the passion that a lot of entrepreneurs try to bring into their lives, aspire to become, and that you already have. So, I mean, just truly just continue being yourselves, continue being an inspiration to hundreds and hundreds of others. All the very best to all three of you. You guys are perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all three of you. We really appreciate having you here today, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And you have sent us into this competition on a great high with infused cosmic energy, and we cannot thank you enough for that this morning. Have a great day. All right, now I hope everybody is wound up and ready to go from that. We're on a mission with our purpose to bring our dreams and our visions to life. We want to take a moment as we get ready to roll into the boot camp to thank our community supporters as part of this program, from the City of Toronto, the Consul General of India, the Government of India and Startup India, Invest India, and then our corporate partners, Admittedly, who have been so fantastic in stepping up and helping us to produce our pool for the cash prizing, Tangentia and Tangentia Ventures, Investor Quotient Canada, Thai, Style Photos, Postal Fund, Dando, Indo-Canada, Y-Space. All these people come together behind us in the background to help us to be able to achieve what we need to do. Plus, a whole group of nameless but so valuable donors who step up and they say they want to support your companies. They want to put these contributions forward so that we can have the prize money, so that we can give you a boost in your business as well too. So thanks to all the organizations who have helped us to do this. Suyash, we want to thank the resource partners as well.
Absolutely. I think a lot of these partners, Chris, they don't just help us in building this, they help us throughout the journey, right? They help us while we are assisting these startups, they help us in our helping these startups. So we have AWS for startups, we have Zoho for startups, we have Freshworks, we have StackBuy. These are some of the leading customer service software platforms, some of the leading SaaS platforms in the country and in the world. And all of them have come on board to help these startups, to assist these startups, to give them their products, to be able to build something of their own with as little help from anywhere else as possible. So I mean, truly thank you to each and every one of our resource partners and their assistance that they're providing to the startups of this program.
We also want to give a big shout out to the two instructors who are leading the classes of Schulich students throughout this journey. So students from India, young entrepreneurs, what you need to know is that we are prepping and preparing and working with our students. Not only do they have their overall MBA education, they are working with two phenomenal instructors that have been handpicked and selected from our ecosystem to guide them and prepare them and work with them so they're right and ready to work to support you. Cherry Rose Tan is our entrepreneur in residence at the Schulich School of Business, an instructor in a variety of courses, and she'll be leading the students out of Kiel campus here in Canada at York University. And then Jeremy Vo, who's an exited entrepreneur, building a new business, now located in Singapore, is going to be working in combination in person in India and remote with our class in Hyderabad. Both of them are ready to go. And I know so many of our own students are out there online watching the broadcast today, and we're excited. We hope you're ready and even more inspired after watching today's session to roll up your sleeves and help out these young entrepreneurs get to their next stage. Now, as we go along, we're going to talk to you just about where we're at. We're not going to go through the timeline blow by blow, but what I am going to say is, just so everyone understands who's watching today remotely, who's not deeply infused in the program already, is that right now we're in this highlighted section, program launch and the weekend boot camp. From here, after the program launch, the students will all stay on this link and continue with us into the boot camp, where we have some amazing trainers coming up for them. We're going to highlight those in a few moments. And then we're going to continue on to work through refining and coming to our final competitors, the top 20 that are going to go into the next stage of the competition. Let's continue forward and just remind everyone why we're here. At the heart of everything is the self-reliability, the sustainability, the social purpose that's infused in the ventures, in the ideas that you submitted. So we're here looking to create great companies, but we're also here looking to make a change and an impact in the world. And that's what we're so excited by your ideas, is that the good and the purpose that's driven within them, that purpose that you heard from Sultan. Each one of you that makes it to the top 20 are going to have a paired mentorship experience. So you'll be receiving a mentor from Canada and from India working together. It's a really phenomenal networking group of people that have come together. And as we've gone through the years, we've continued to get the best of the best to join and return for each team. And this group is like an absolute A-list that you're going to get to meet in the process. Be ready, be prepared to work with them and receive their guidance. Remember those tips that Galen gave you earlier in the event today. The bootcamp experience itself, which is coming up, you're going to be learning a wide variety of important opportunities and methods and systems to apply as you go ahead. So we're excited for you to roll into that. We also want to remind everyone that one of the unique things about this entire experience is that all of the intellectual property, all of the commercialization, all of the benefit, everything that comes out of this program remains solely in the hands of the Indian student entrepreneurs that are creating these companies. So we're here to support you and to share our perspective and help you get to the next level. But this is your journey, and we're looking forward to celebrate you as you go on. We have a whole series of world-class trainers that are lined up to work with you throughout the journey, and let's continue on. And you're going to get to meet some of those people. But first, I want to introduce you to one of the most important behind-the-scenes people now to be welcomed to the stage, Shrey Kumar Bhatnagar. Shrey is one of the Together mission organizers, and he is the lead program manager behind the scene who is making everything happen seamlessly and flawlessly and getting us to the point where we are. Shrey is also an alumni from the Schulich School of Business. And back when he was a student at the school, helped me to design and create many of the most innovative programs that we have at the business school today. Shrey, thank you so much for all the hard work that you're doing behind the scenes to make this a success, your energy and your spirit and your drive. To you and your team behind you of volunteers, all sorts of great people like Vinod, who is with us here today as well too. Shrey, welcome to the stage and tell the students what's going to happen next as we continue on into the bootcamp.
Sure. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Chris, for the kind words. We have put in a lot of thought and effort in making this an amazing event for all of you. I would love to share my screen and discuss about this bootcamp, which all the entrepreneurs that have participating are excited about. We have received multiple requests on the excitement of the content that we have curated for the learning to be shared through this bootcamp. The bootcamp will be starting right after this program launch. Just wanted to walk you through the list of speakers that we have and what topics they would be teaching you. We have Ben Stacy, who would be sharing how to design a pitch. Really powerful tool for any student entrepreneur or any entrepreneur to have, because you're always selling your company and your idea. Next, we have Ruben Tosman, who would be talking about how to identify the right problem and establish the value proposition. We also have Chris. Chris has multiple entrepreneurial anecdotes to share with you. He would be sharing one of a fantastic story to motivate you and keep you focused on your startup. All of these 3 sessions would be happening, like I said, after the program launch. For tomorrow, we have another 3 set of trainers. We have Pankaj Thakur, who would be talking about sizing the market, communicating on key metrics, VCs, and revenue modeling. Next, we have Mosh, who would be talking about how to design high growth products. Some of you are building B2C products, some of you are building B2B products. In both cases, you would hear and learn a lot from Mosh's session. And lastly, every company has to have a go-to-market strategy. That's where Michael comes in with his expertise. He's been doing this for quite a long time. Super excited to share all of this trainer package with you. Thank you, and we're looking forward to seeing you in this boot camps. Sending it over back to Chris.
So what's coming up next, you might ask, in the process. So Bootcamp is up next today and tomorrow. And students, let me tell you, like, these are golden moments where insights will be shared that will help you to unlock the difference between moving forward from where we are with all our applications right now to the top 100 and then moving to the top 20. You don't want to miss any of these moments or opportunities. And when you come in and you're engaged, when you come in and you have the opportunity, if you can, to be on video, when you're asking questions and engaged with the speakers, it's something that you really start to build your own momentum and reputation within the group, and people are talking about you, and people can see the ideas that you have. So treat these moments not just as an opportunity to sit back and receive knowledge, which is important, but take these moments in the bootcamp as an opportunity to shine a little bit and to show your thinking and to show your brand and to allow us to get to know you better in the process. And when we get to know you, we're even more inspired to support you. So October 6th will be the qualifying team's announcement. Then on the 16th, we move to, and that's the top 100. Then we move to the top 20 from there, October 16th. And when we go into the full compressed, intense week with those top 20 companies, then will be October 23rd to 27th. The 28th is the actual championship presentation in front of the judges. That'll be the top 6 companies at that point in time. And of course, Shrey, not included on this chart, is October 29th, which is my birthday. So after we all wrap up, I'm going to sit back and celebrate my birthday and just applaud everything that you've achieved together over that time. Shrey, let's wrap up here for this session. Surash, I'll give you a couple of final words, of course, and then we will continue on to the boot camp in 5 minutes after we sign off. Surash, please take us home.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. You know, as excited as ever. This is going to be a wonderful journey. We've been preparing for this for months now. So we, you know, have been expecting things, not expecting things, seeing things change at the back end. And now that we've launched, I think all the more excited for what's to come. We've seen all the applications come in. We're going to see all of those startups now present themselves, compete, build their products, build their ideas into, you know, wonderful startups, hopefully. And really, really, really looking forward to the next 2 months, really looking forward to the championship round. And all the very best to each and every one of the startups that's present here. Just make the most of it, make the most of the sessions, make the most of each and every session that you attend, each and every mentorship session, each and every knowledge session, and you know, the pitching sessions and so on and so forth. So this is a huge opportunity to each and every student. This is a huge opportunity not just to solve a problem, to build a startup or to build an idea, but to understand what entrepreneurship is, understand what the fundamentals of entrepreneurship are, how it's done, and to learn it from you know, some of the best experts, not just in India or Canada, but in the world. So really, first of all, just congratulations to each and every one of you for being here, for being part of this program, and all the very best. Really, really looking forward to the future sessions.
Thanks, Yash. You're a great partner to work with. You have unlimited energy. You're one of those 2 time zone guys who's up with your team, the men and women of Startup India, you know, and working with us. We appreciate all of that. Shrey, we'll go into break now, everybody. We have like 5 minutes. Just get yourself a glass of water, take a walk around, do some stretching, get yourself organized, get a bite to eat. And please be back in 5 minutes sharp. And Shrey will be kicking off the next session. And I'll be back to see you soon as well, too, when it comes time for story time with Chris. And to give you a little teaser, I'm going to tell you the story behind how this program came to exist, and it involves none other than Mr. Ratan Tata. So looking forward to seeing you for story time, and Shrey will be kicking off with you in a few minutes. Thanks, guys.